To remember my brother. I just turned 60, so my brother would have been 62. He died 22 years ago. So he's with me in spirit anyway, and I think Marty and Ross also, but many of the other people in the room remember Keith. Certainly Miss Virginia, I mean, there are too many people who remember Keith. Jamie, the Russells, Jamie, Virginia, and Jim certainly remember. Okay, so I'm going to back up here. This is obviously beautiful baby Jessie, and she's not quite sure about this deal of being dressed up and having her picture taken. Like, go, please. You want to share? I need okay, we're going to need the birthday girl to give also commentary when I get this wrong. So what is this object that you're driving? It's like a
No, I want video.
Car, Mom.
Of that.
First car.
Yeah. Okay. Her first car. Okay. All right, let's move on.
How old were you?
Yeah, how old were you?
About 6.
Okay, kitty cat. We have a kitty cat as well. What was this cat's name? Do you remember the name of the cat, Mom?
She was Blackie.
Okay, Blackie.
First cat?
She was my first cat, yes.
All right, so
And
here's a big
I have
jump.
number 5 now.
Okay, is this out of order?
No, this is fine.
Okay, so I think I'm right in saying that, you know, Jessie was a musical prodigy from an early age. She has perfect pitch, which means that she can, you know, if you say you want her to sing a B flat, the B flat above middle C, she can sing it for you. And I can't do that. Miss Bach, can you do that? Do you have perfect pitch? Jamie?
If you don't play an F sharp, she tells you.
Okay, so anyway, she was the concert mistress of the high school orchestra. Am I right in that? You were the concert mistress of the high school orchestra?
Albany High School Orchestra.
The Albany High School Orchestra. Back in the day, when Albany High School could have, how large was the orchestra?
90-piece symphony orchestra.
90-piece symphony orchestra in a high school. I mean, whoa! All right, that was the days, right? So here she is with some of her buddies. I think, is that Leo Mahigian? I met him.
Leo Mahigian.
Who subsequently played in the Albany Symphony,
He
didn't
was the
he?
concertmaster of the Albany Symphony, and that's the string quartet, my high school string quartet, and we used to play all over the area, and we'd get calls to play for so-and-so party or something, and we'd practice like mad, and then we'd come and people would talk.
Jamie, are you listening? Cara, are you listening to this?
I understand.
Yeah.
So I got to the point where I went to the public library and checked out all the parts for Schubert string quartets and Mozart and Haydn string quartets, and we'd sight read them when we went out to parties. We're all excellent players.
I know that Cara Doll over here was not sight reading. It was too beautiful, right? You weren't sight reading. Tell me one side. Okay, next please. Next please. Okay, now here's the humongous symphony orchestra of which we speak. Now, where's Jessie? There's Jessie, right?
Right there. Yeah.
Okay, and there's Leo. So I guess you were principal. Were you
That was the second violin section.
Playing principal second violin. A high school, ladies and gentlemen. Look at the way they're dressed. I mean, what's happened to society? I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Okay, all right, next, please. All right, so is that the Tappan Zee Bridge, or is that on Staten Island Ferry?
Yes, it's Tappan Zee Bridge.
Okay, so that's north of New York City.
Back up.
Oh, sorry. I love the saddle shoes. So anyway,
Happy girl.
this is high school, Jessie, right?
Yes, I was about 16 then.
Okay. Now, big jump to this is I think the picture that's on our this is the picture that's on our name tags. And is this a graduation from NYU?
No, I was a freshman at NYU.
Okay, freshman. This is what a college freshman looks like. Can you believe it? Where's the baseball cap worn backwards? I want to know. Where are the piercings? So, the tattoos, right? I forgot the tattoos. So, I don't want to make too much of this, but between high school and NYU, Jessie lost some weight. Am I right about that? And that was a major step forward. She had I knew her mother, my grandmother, Anna, her mom comes from Germans, all right? And Germans cook, you know how Germans cook, right? You know, thick, everything is Schweinefleisch, everything is, you know, made out of a pig, and if it's not made out of a pig, it's made out of a potato. So when she was fed in high school, she was what you saw, right? Cute. All right, so when she went to college, she decided she had to change all that. So instead of the freshman 15, where they put it on, she took it off. So I think that's an amazing achievement. Here we are. Is that the same year, or is that?
That was a senior, that was my college graduation.
Oh, that was the college. I can't even actually tell you which one.
1946.
I guess that's the one that's on our. So there she is as a college senior. And in between, of course, she was. I remember you used to say that when the conductor of the orchestra at NYU couldn't be there, she'd say, "Let Miss Lade." He'd say, it was a he, right? "Have Miss Lade take over. I'm gonna be late." So the success continued through there. So let's continue here. And that actually is maybe out of order. That should be that's sort of a high school graduation, right? Okay, keep telling me, Marty.
Well, I'm gonna.
Okay, all right. All right, what do we have here? Is that college graduation? That's thin, Jessie. So that's got to be college graduation. All right. Well, why is that? Okay, this is my dad. He died maybe 10 years ago. A lot of y'all knew him. That was Dr. Jessie Fleming. They got married in 1947, is that right? And that was the reason she moved to Salisbury. I got to be frank and say I don't think my mother has ever gotten over the Eastern Shore. Here it is, long time later. But she keeps, every time she comes back from you, a lot of y'all know that some of you have visited her in the Adirondacks, which is all mountains. And now, every time she comes back to the Eastern Shore, she says, "It's so flat. It's so flat." Like, what do you not know about the Eastern Shore? It's so flat. But anyway, that was my dad. She met him when he was teaching in New York, and went to NYU, I think. And they got married, and she came to Salisbury, Maryland, and that's how she ended up at, you were saying, aren't you? So, maybe I should just move to the other side. But I can't.
Kneel down, Dad, kneel down.
Sit down. I'm not going to kneel down. I'll just stand behind you.
Stand over there.
That was the class of 1963, and the singer was in the college chorus. Who remembers her? Anybody?
Was that Joan O'Connor?
That was Joan O'Connor, right.
And she married a horn player in the New York Philharmonic, and we still have contact with them. We saw them in New York. They used to live in the Warner Building right off of Columbus Circle. She was in the Pirates of Penzance. I still remember that. She was what's the lead female in the Pirates of Penzance? The one, the daughter who y'all fond of Gilbert Sullivan.
Yeah.
They come to the Naval Academy. They're doing the Pirates of Penzance next semester. So catch up with them. Okay, let's move on. All right, here we go. This is what Salisbury University used to look like. That kind of pokey little road there in front. Pokey little.
Hallway hall.
I know, but I'm looking at the pokey little road, baby.
I lived in that building.
You.
It's
But
a wonderful place.
But look, this is 1954.
Well, I didn't live there yet.
Okay. All right, I'm not going to try to fight Marty, but this. Now they for a while they painted it kind of dark cream, and then they painted it white again. They've had a lot of those again. Now there are all sorts of flags hanging out in front of it. I can't get over it. I'm sorry. It's not the way it's supposed to be. It's not the way it was in 1954 when I was born. So, okay, there it is. So let's move on. Is this? I guess this is my brother. Right? This is Keith. Okay, so Keith was cute.
Oh, it was like that too.
We all start off cute. That's the amazing thing. And you know what? That playpen survived until Alexandra. That's amazing. We used that for her. So, all right, let's move on. There's young Jessie. That's also, is that Keith? That's got to be Keith, right?
That's Keith,
Yeah,
yeah.
That's okay. Keith would have been, as I say, Keith would have been 62, right? 62. He was 2.5. I'm 60. He would have been 62 and a half. He's born in January. He died in March, early March of the year that Alexandra was born. So he never got to know Alexandra. Okay?
And he became a famous cellist in the Washington.
Yeah, my brother. I don't know if y'all. I'll just spend a minute on my brother. My brother. The family joke is that it's a family curse that we all get a PhD because my mother has one, my father had one, I have one. Mine's from Vanderbilt, hers was from NYU, my father's was also from NYU, and another from Columbia. Keith got a PhD from Catholic University in Washington in
Is it-
Gregorian chant. So he could look at manuscripts and say, oh, this is a corrupt, he used to go on about corrupt Medici manuscripts, and, you know, oh, this is a corrupt version of the so-and-so chant from this, you know, the Abbey of Salem, and he would just go on forever. I mean, you had to shut him off, but he knew what he was doing. But he was also a fine performing cellist, and he was one of the cellists in the Opera House Orchestra of the Kennedy Center. So after that, he did that for a while, and then he was a freelance cellist in the Washington area. So he's sorely missed, obviously. And my sorrow is that he never knew any of my children. But there we are. I'm the little one, the one looking rather pouty. So let's move on. And that, I don't know, Mom, help me. Is that Keith?
That's Keith.
All right. So he must have been having a happy moment there. Keith was shorter than me and much thicker, so
By 1/2 inch.
that's not true. He
But who's counting?
he wasn't even 6 feet. So
Yes, he
anyway,
was. He
go
was
ahead.
6
He was
foot
not.
2.
All right. So you notice the matching jackets. Now, did you make these jackets, Mom? We have these classic pictures of Bruce and Keith in little red jackets that Mom. She was a fabulous seamstress, as was her mother. I mean, that's what you just did from a German heritage. You made clothes. So there we are in our little matching tops. And Mom made clothes. Mom made the when I got married to Meg, my wife, 15 years ago, well, almost 15 years ago, soon to be 15 years. She made the dress that my then, how old were you, sweetie? 9 years old.
What, for your wedding?
For our
I
wedding,
was
Mom.
almost 8.
Your mom made the dress that Alexandra wore to our wedding, and we still have it. So she's a marvel.
Wait,
Anyway,
Dad,
this
you
is a
weren't
classic
born
1958. Somebody into cars. Is it looks like a Studebaker.
It's a Cadillac.
Yeah,
It's
it's
a
a
Cadillac.
Studebaker.
Okay, all right, there you
No,
go.
it was a Studebaker.
What are those things you're holding in your hand?
You know, I don't know.
Cracker Jacks.
Snacks.
I don't know. They
Are
look
they
bad.
cracked?
All right, my mother rose to prominence in the area. For some of you, maybe not so much, but our joke is that she can't go out in public on the Eastern Shore without somebody coming up to her and saying, Dr. Jessie, you haven't changed a bit in 50 years. So it's all because of this. This was we call it the college. It's now a university, but the college chorus. Which was, similarly large, along with back in Albany, the orchestra was, humongous, and the college chorus at Salisbury was also humongous. So this would have been the 50s at some point. Do you have a sense of the date, maybe 1958?
That was a Christmas program in front of the Wycomico courthouse.
I recognize, oh my gosh, this is so amazing to me. These people won't mean anything to you, but this is Betty Lou Townsend, who was a good artist, and we still have some of her paintings. She died tragically young. Isn't that June Bennett?
Yeah, Joe Bennett.
Who's, Bennett High Schools are named after her father. What's her married name?
Miles.
Miles. Okay, so she lived 2 houses down. So you can see this is more of the trip down memory lane. The guys wasn't so involved with. Look at this. This is college. What's he got on there? He's got on a nice little sweater vest and a tie. So you go.
What year was it?
Here's another one.
That's
What?
me up on the right.
You're kidding. You're kidding.
Look
Oh,
right,
that's a
the
real weird.
arrow.
That one?
No, over. Oh, that's.
That's you? I love it. Oh, that's fabulous. Okay. All right, next please. I don't know, Mom, that would have been 1958 something.
Yeah.
Here we are, you can see it's a Christmas chorus, Christmas concert, long dresses for the ladies in Holloway Hall. Believe me, Marty, I have many fond memories of Holloway Hall. I was dissing the road, I wasn't dissing Holloway Hall, okay? All right, so here we are in Holloway Hall. The Christmas concert, decoration. It was great. When I went, some of y'all know that there was a demonstration school for the university we called it the campus school, which they I think have just torn down.
No.
Just torn down.
Really?
Right. But anyway, the kids
I like the
there,
playground.
we all got roped, I won't say roped into being the children's chorus for the Christmas concert. So I have fond memories. We wore these long white gowns with red bows. We were adorable, I assure you. So anyway, I have fond memories of this. Let's move on, please. They were cute, right? Some of y'all have been there. And then the fact there are some kids, not sure that
Oh, that was one of my guest conductorship in Nassau County, New York.
So I'm not in there, so I'm not in there.
That's the Nassau County
New York.
Elementary School orchestra choir. And
So
I was
Mom
a
got
guest
invited
conductor
all
for 2
over,
years.
right?
Yes.
This was in the earlier years. In the later years, she, the priest will remember this. I'm sure she she was in charge of the what was it, the diocesan choir at the something like that, right, at the shrine, the National Shrine of the Immaculate Conception in Washington, which is on the campus of Catholic University. So that comes a little bit later.
Charlie Brown can tell you about that.
Yeah, I know we can. Okay, I'm realizing that it's we're going to have dessert here, and we want to get you home in time. So I gotta be a little bit less verbose. You can see that the professor in me is coming out here. So anybody recognize anybody here except Jessie on the left?
Recognize Norma?
Yes. Some of you all were. In the middle is our beloved Norma Heidi, who died how many years ago? 15 anyway, right?
5 or 6.
Who was the voice teacher at Salisbury University. So, okay. Now what is this? What's happening
I'm getting another master's degree from Catholic
Oh,
Uni.
right. Mom went back to, there we go, thank you. Mom went back to school in her, I don't know, advanced youth, call it, not middle age. But,
1979, I started at Catholic U.
and she has a Master of Religious Education from, in addition to the music degrees, she got an MRE, is that what it's called, from Catholic. And for us it's meaningful because she smuggled Keith's cat, Papageno, into the dormitories against strict rules that there were to be no pets in the dormitory. But she put him in a box and took him in, and she went over there. So here she is. They hadn't caught her, obviously, because they're giving her a degree. But let's move on. Okay, now, yeah, this was the era of big hair, all right? I have to be apologetic. That's me on the left. Yes, I know. Thank you, Jamie. I appreciate it. And that's Keith with even more ridiculous hair to the right of that. And where were we here? We were
West Virginia University.
Right, we both went to music camp, but for a number of years, 3 years anyway, at West Virginia University in Morgantown. They put on.
I think we might have shown see
I
that
played
one.
the violin, which I don't anymore. Keith was,
Toilet bowl in the sky.
huh?
Toilet bowl in the sky, that's what they call the theater building there.
Is it? We never heard
It
that.
looks like a big toilet.
Oh, it used to be. Oh, okay. All right.
Wait, Dad.
Anyway, moving on. Okay, so here are 3 of the 4 doctorates. I wasn't a doctor at this point. This is my father on the right.
You were in Rwanda when this picture was taken.
Really, when did Keith get his degree?
79.
No, I wasn't. in
Bruce
Rwanda
got
yet.
his in 1979.
I was in Munich, but same.
Okay.
You weren't here.
I wasn't there. I wasn't there. And the gold tassels, for those of you not in academia, indicate doctoral degrees. So that's what they're doing there. And there okay. Now, don't I look ridiculous? Yes, I'm the one on the right. He looks semi-nice. He's the one on the left. But I'm sorry, I just have to apologize. That's what I look like. I mean, this is 1982, right? Isn't that what, I mean, it was it. That's what you did in 1982. These ridiculous glasses and way too much hair. Okay, so it's silly. I said, let's move on here. Let's move on.
Oh, singers.
Oh, this is the Community Singers, Virginia.
That's where. Is that?
That's at Asbury Church.
Asbury.
Is that the one you go
Asbury,
to?
right.
Yeah? Oh, I've been.
There it is.
A lot of people y'all will recognize, okay? There's me. Now, wait, is this? That's Arthur Delpaz, if you knew him. Now, what are we doing here, Mom?
This was a retirement dinner party that
Is that Ellen?
the dean at the college threw because there were 6 of us retiring. The first and last time they ever did anything for retiring faculty members.
No, know, we get
There's
access
Ellie.
for pictures now.
That's Ellie Petchat on the right, if you know her.
Ellie.
Petchat. She passed away a couple years ago.
She was 100 years old.
She made it to
The old lady
100.
on the right.
And these were the retirees. I like this picture not only because there's Arthur. Arthur died, what, 2 years ago?
1 year.
1 year ago. He lived in San Francisco. But I like the fact that it's Morris Bosman on the right. Morris Bosman was my 5th grade teacher at the campus school. And I had a similar moment driving. We drove to, we're actually staying at the beach, so his mom herself just came down from the North Woods. So we didn't want to crash on her. So we arrived at the beach last night. Unfortunately, so did about 100,000 Harley Davidson riders. But anyway, on the way into the beach, we were seeing the election signs for Norm Conway. And Norm Conway was the student teacher in Morris Bosman's class in the 5th grade. So I'm telling you, this place is just rife with memories. So let's
That
move
was
on.
Masucci on the left.
Yeah.
That's where, that's the shrine. That's upstairs in the shrine.
That was a
We know?
rehearsal.
That's St. Francis.
It was a rehearsal of the diocesan choir
Oh, here's
Isn't
me.
that upstairs in the shrine?
Here's me.
at St. Francis.
Oh, in the front row, the little
Oh, I
blonde, the long
see
hair.
you. I see you with the long hair.
Anyway, everybody there is a happy camper, I'm sure. Let's move on. Mom, oh yes, Mom went as a, Mom started traveling. Let me just back up for a second. When my mother was married to my father, which lasted until when? Mid-70s anyway.
78.
She didn't go much of anywhere. So when that ended, she decided she had to see the world. And I was living in a lot of crazy places. So she came to visit me in Munich on Christmas Day. And we had a great Munich, and we still have Christmas tree decorations from that Christmas in Munich. She came to visit me in Rwanda. I taught for 2 years in Central Africa as a Fulbright professor. I got my PhD in 1982. I was a Fulbright professor. I had a Fulbright scholarship in West Berlin, and then I went to Rwanda for 2 years before going to Annapolis in 1987. And wherever I was, Mom would come and visit me. But there were some places I wasn't, and one of them was Russia. I have been to Russia, but she has two kind of honorary sons who were friends of Keith's, and they were playing with the National Symphony. Tell me if I'm getting this right. And they invited her to go along as an honorary mother on, this is an amazingly historical trip. The conductor of the National Symphony at the time was Mstislav Rostropovich, who is, you know, one of the world's greatest cellists ever. And he was invited, when the Soviet Union crashed, he was invited back to bring his orchestra, which was the National Symphony, to Moscow and also what was still, I think, Leningrad, wasn't it? Or did it call it
Leningrad and
Petersburg?
then the three Baltic
And then they did the
states.
Baltics. So Mom was, I couldn't be involved with this, but Mom was invited along as an honorary mother for these two friends of Keith's. So this is associated with that, right?
Yes.
She has a poster in her kitchen of this historic concert in Red Square, and she can always say, "Oh, it's all from the back." So there we go. There we go. Okay, that's good. There we go. You say Red Square. This is St. Basil's, of course. The story is that the architect who made St. Basil's, because this was his masterpiece, he asked to be blinded after he made it on the grounds that he would never again surpass his greatest work. So maybe apocryphal, but it's a fabulous piece of architecture. And gosh, doesn't she look young in that picture? So let's move on. Yes. Okay, this is the trips. So where are we now? This must still be in Russia because it's in Cyrillic.
This is in Moscow, and that's the Tchaikovsky statue outside the Moscow Conservatory.
Tchaikovsky Hall, that's right.
Yes.
The Moscow Conservatory. Okay. Oh gosh, this has got to be in France. But
This is in front of Notre Dame in Paris.
I guess it's I guess it's the portal of West Portal of Notre Dame. Arlene told me it's Notre Dame. I looked at it and I thought, you know, which of the, because you think of the central portal, but anyway, there she is with her comfy little hat. So, and here we are in India. I lectured in India. I've lectured in India maybe 4 times, and I can't remember, maybe the 3rd time we took Mom. And of course we did, we were talking about Mom's, for those of you at our table, we're talking about Mom's pearls. The pearls that she's wearing we bought in Hyderabad, which is south central India, for those of you who've never been, which is really where I was based in India. But we did tourism as well, and this of course is the Taj Mahal in Agra, which is east of Delhi. So There she is. And what is that?
What happened?
Is
Is
that
that
the
it?
end of our slideshow? I hope so, because we're ready for dessert. Got a couple more? You don't want pause.
Next. Yes, we do.
Okay.
Oh,
All right.
Africa.
This is more travels. This is Mom in Kenya, in Nairobi. I was, as I say, in Rwanda, but you don't go anywhere in Rwanda without going through Nairobi first. So I also lectured at the University of Nairobi, and there she is. We're getting ready to go down to the Mara, as they say, down to the Masai Mara. So, and guess prizes. Where are we? There we go. Berlin. This is. Berlin, and let's see, this is of course from the East Berlin side, and is this when it was East Berlin, or is this when we walked
No,
through the gate?
this is the west side.
No, it's the east side, because the Quadriga faces the east. It's the famous
Okay.
Brandenburg Gate, and back when I was in West Berlin, of course, this was the east. You could go over, but it was all very cold and gray and ugly, and I'll never forget the first time after the wall fell in '89. I'll never forget the thrill that I got from actually walking through that gate, because that was what was surrounded by no man's land, with the dogs and with they said that if you stepped on the ground you'd be blown sky high. So it was a really amazing thing. Now the American Embassy, unfortunately, is right there to the left. It's a big cross, as we say. All right, so here's some grandchildren. Gosh, they're not going to throw us out of here at 8 o'clock, are you?
No.
Are we going to be okay? 5 more minutes, all right, and then we'll just start. Okay. Okay, all right. So, guess who this is? This is sweet little Alexandra, and I guess Mom didn't actually make these clothes, but she certainly coordinated. And this is the house that I lived in when Alexandra was little, and you know, you can tell it's Christmas time. It's the Maryland Christmas, so you know, no snow, but. So this is completely out of order, but moving back to not grandchildren but children. These are the red jackets. I didn't even remember that this was in the slideshow. These are the jackets that Grandma made, that Mom made for little Brucey and little Keithy. And this is our dog Candy. So, okay, let's move on. All right, there's quite a jump here, but it's kind of cute. There's me trying to have this is when they were at the, both my boys spent several years at the Naval Academy Primary School, which is across the river from the Naval Academy, so that's the insignia on Owen. He's being goofy there on the right. And I'm trying to get up a costume here by pasting some black construction paper on an orange sweater, so I don't know how successul that is. I'm supposed to look like a pumpkin, in case you can't tell. But what's really cool about this picture, my students say picture, so I always joke, every time I say the word picture, I think of my students, is that the costume that Teddy is wearing is a costume that Mom made for me when I was that age. So she also made one for Keith, and it's just that Owen has outgrown that. So they're these two little clown costumes, and this is a source of contention between my wife and me, that I say, well, you just put something away for 50 years. You never know when it's going to come in handy. But Meg is more, she's more up to the moment, and that's the reason she's the IT director and I'm not. So she says, you haven't used it in 3 years. You know, there's a rule that if you haven't worn something in, what is it, ladies, a couple years, you get it out of your closet. But I don't believe that. So this is where I won. So I'd like you to appreciate the fact that I won this one. You put it in a drawer for 50 years, and your kids can wear it. So.
And you still have them for your grandchildren.
I still have them for
Yeah.
Okay, so.
Yeah,
all right.
and I have to say so, mister.
Yes, okay, let's move on.
Is she wearing the same
now this
thing?
everything has a story here. This is Norm Conway on the left, and tell me who's on the right.
Frank
Purdue. You don't pronounce it Purdue, you pronounce it Purdue. Frank Purdue, who didn't have many of his marbles when this picture was taken, but he had enough of his marbles to show up. This was Salisbury University.
75th.
What?
75th.
75th anniversary, and they chose, is this the garment that you're wearing now? It is.
Yes.
It is. So, all right. Yeah. So she tried to change that on me 2 days ago. I asked her 2 weeks ago, what are you wearing? And she said, I think I'll wear the tie silk. So that's when I had this lengthy conversation with the florist. And I said, she's wearing, you know, how to describe teal, is that the right word? And I said turquoise. Turquoise and gold. And I want the corsage to match. And so then 2 nights ago, she says, Well, and Mom says, I don't know, maybe I'll wear the so-and-so. I said, you're wearing what you told me. Because that's what anyway. Here we are, we'll recognize her house. The beard comes and goes, in case you're wondering. It lights for a while and then it flies off. So this is my red-haired wife. This is the famous house in the woods, for those of you who have visited, and those of you who haven't. Many of you have fond memories of that.
Raise your hand if you've been there.
You know, a lot of people. This is in Chestertown, New York, about 45 minutes north of Saratoga and about an hour and a half north of Albany. So.
It's an hour and a half.
Right, the lake is down to the left, and yeah, they have snow. In the Northwoods, they have snow. They have snow. And Mary Jean Jenkins will recognize this picture because don't you recognize that? Because we have a painting that you made based on that.
Mary
Don't you
Jean
remember
made that, yes.
You took that picture, okay, all right. And we have a watercolor, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's a version of that. A lot of artists use photographs as prototypes. And so it's funny to me to see the original here. So it's a completely weather-proofed house. You can live in it year-round. Here we are at the famous Adirondack Museum in
Blue Mountain
Lake, which is the absolute dead center of the Adirondacks. And of course, this is an exaggeratedly large chair. And these are my children. And this is my mother. So let's move on. Okay, self-explanatory. Mom and male grandchildren at the house in the woods. Let's move on. What is this? This is getting ready for Christmas.
That's at our house.
It is at our house.
Oh, no.
This is the whole kit and caboodle of them. This is maybe a couple years ago, right?
Yes.
Grandma is a great cook, for those of you, most of you might know that. And this is, you can tell from the decorations, this is Thanksgiving. And, you know, all we do is show up, and, you know, Grandma has completed, from soup to nuts, literally, has Thanksgiving dinner ready. And we say, isn't this too much for you this year? And she says no. So I imagine that's, who knows, we're going to maybe talk her into doing Thanksgiving at our house. This was a rather blowy Mother's Day, maybe, at the Naval Academy.
Easter.
Easter, Mother's Day.
Well, Easter,
He
I
looks
think.
as if he's about to go over on the left. My mother-in-law, Marge, who's sitting over here at the table. I don't know, Klaus, were you there, or did you?
He took the picture.
Oh, he took the picture. Okay, Klaus took the picture. Okay. So, and graduating from the 5th grade. Now he's in the 7th grade. Totally amazing. Now they played pomp and circumstance when he graduated from 5th grade. This is Jack's and Linda's dad. This is Jessie's little brother, Paul Labe, who passed away how many years ago now?
2.
2.5. All right. So he didn't quite make it the distance that the big sister did, but the party, la partie continue, comme on dit en français. But here we are with this is Jack and Linda again. Can tell us what this is. This is Mom and son in Monterey, California, at the wedding of Jack and Linda's daughter, and that was just what, 2 months, 3 months ago,
yes.
a couple months ago. So you know, Paul is gone, but there we are at the wedding of his son and daughter-in-law's daughter. So this is, I hope that this is the last one, because
This was 10 years
it
ago.
makes a good finish. 10 years ago in this room, ladies and gentlemen. So we're counting on you all to be back in 10 years in this same room. That's it. Okay, I guess we have some random things that didn't get ordered.